What activity ensures that your child grows up to be a confident, compassionate, and capable adult? That question is universal to every single parent. And whilst there are countless options, arts, sports, academics, plenty that you do, I believe that there is one program that is uniquely overlooked, yet super transformative: scouting. In fact, I argue scouting is so effective that every single child should have the opportunity to be a scout. So let's begin by setting the scene. Scouting is the world's largest youth movement. 57 million youth members and volunteers spanning 174 countries. To put this into perspective, if scouting people formed a nation, we would be the 26th most populous in the world. Not only this, scouting is a lifelong experience, starting as young as age 4 as a grasshopper scout, rising through the sections to serve as an adult leader. And I think it's best to begin by sharing a little bit more about myself. I'm Athan Wong, and I've been a scout for over half my life. At age 7, I was forced to be a scout, reluctantly, by my parents, and now at 16 years old, I'm a Chief Scout Award holder. I've raised a generation of 50 youth members, and I've done plenty of wild, strange, and crazy activities. Just last week, I hiked for 60 kilometers for 4 days straight. I volunteered for an ultra marathon before, and because of this, I really want to share the magic that goes on behind scouting. And this can really be summarized with 2 key phrases. 1, collective struggles, and 2, new experiences. So let's begin with collective struggles, which can really be visualized with this flowchart. It's really simple, 3 key components. 1, there's a struggle. This can be that your campsite has ran out of food. You can be in the middle of a hike and there's suddenly a storm. Because the truth is, in every single scout activity, something is bound to go wrong, whether big or small. But then you go to the second part. You overcome the struggle. Either through sheer willpower, through hard work, through adaptability, you make it through that struggle. And you as a troop, you all tell yourselves, hey, we've made it through a struggle and we're proud of ourselves. And then you return back home, you reflect, because as scouts, you'll be doing these activities over and over again. You'll be camping over and over again, and you always have to know how you can improve. So scouts will always be driven to improve. And there's no better way to explain this than my personal favorite story. This being the World Scouts Jamboree 2023. If you don't know what a jamboree is, this is a global gathering of scouts. In fact, 40,000 scouts from across the globe gathered in one campsite in South Korea. From this school, Renaissance College, 13 scouts participated in this. So let's go through that flowchart again. 1, the collective struggle. This was the campsite. Virtually everything that could go wrong did go wrong. The toilets were infested with bugs. The showers had see-through curtains. The campsite was flooded. It was muddy. There is a typhoon approaching us, and worst of all, the 40-degree weather. And because the campsite was completely flat, over 1,000 people got heat stroke. 100 people were hospitalized. But then we overcame that struggle through sheer willpower. Those 9 days of surviving the World Scouts Jamboree were the 9 most toughest days, yet 9 most rewarding days of our lives. Because as we returned back to Hong Kong, we reflected, we thought about this, and everything just seemed so euphoric. Simply being under AC, something that we're so used to now, felt like something so special. And from this collective struggle, we all learned one thing: never take things for granted. That was what we learned from this collective struggle. And then now onto my second part, new experiences. New experiences, which is essentially learning in scouting, can be really characterized with a two-pronged approach. One, there are the practical skills that you all know Scouts for, right? Scouts are really good at cooking, they're really good at pioneering, first aid, all of these skills that you train your Scouts to do. But what I argue is actually even more important than these skills you do, is the process you undergo to learn them. This is what they call the soft skills. This is the leadership to guide Scouts through the material so they understand. This is the patience when some Scouts are slower than others. This is the determination when things begin to go awry. And once again, there's no better way to explain this than another story of mine. This time, it's my experience as the foot drill commander last year. If you don't know what foot drill is, all it is just synchronized walking with lots of shouting. That's all there is to it. And so every single year, we would have this massive competition across Hong Kong. And during this 3-month period, we, as a troop, would practice non-stop. 4 times a week, 2 hours per session. All of this just to march around a rectangular box for just 8 minutes. So once again, that's a lot of dedication for just synchronized walking and lots of shouting. And at the end of this, I would always be asked, was the foot drill worth it? And I would say, yes. Not because I found screaming at children particularly entertaining, but really because of the process that I underwent. This was the leadership to motivate my Scouts. Because just like all of you in the audience who may be thinking right now, why on earth would I do foot drill? My members thought the same. I had to learn to motivate them. I had to learn to sympathize when everyone had different schedules, but most importantly, I learned bravery. This is the bravery as I stood right before that marching ground, moments away from beginning my routine. I was freaking out. But as the commander and as the role model to everyone else, I had to show that I was brave and that they could rely on me when things went wrong. So I learned bravery from this new experience. So I hope you understood these 2 key concepts of collective struggles and new experiences. But this also brings me to my next point. Is Scouting potentially outdated? Because as we move to an age of digitalization, of technology, where children are sitting in front of their computers, both in school and outside of school, is there really a place to learn all these survival skills? And to answer this, I think it's best to observe the roots of Scouting. Lord Robert Baden-Powell began Scouting during 1907, following the First World War in Britain. Why? Because he didn't want the British youth to end up like the Roman Empire, who were too weak and incapable to defend themselves. So I argue that this plays the same timeless role now. To make the youth, your children, physically and mentally strong. That is what Scouting enables. So once again, I want to reiterate, make your child a Scout. Because Scouting isn't a simple activity you throw your child in once in a while. It's a lifelong journey. It's the journey of the 7-year-old who learns to light their first fire. It's the journey of the 13-year-old who leads their first patrol. It's the journey of the 16-year-old who stands before that marching ground, both fearful yet determined. And because of this, this teaches Scouts to face life's challenges head-on, no matter the circumstance. And I believe that every single child deserves to embrace this magic. Thank you.